Hey guys, welcome back to the video. This video is going to be the second part. This is the second part of design parking lot. I'll quickly give a recap. So, in the last video, we discussed that we should follow this framework, right, to answer low-level design questions. And we discussed requirements, entities, then also the class diagram part, right? Now we would go to the code part of it, right? So in the code, I have also kind of put together the Xcali also. This is also there if you want. I can attach a GitHub link of this. So you should be able to get that. Just put a message in a comment and I can do that. And now when we start the low level of this, right? So as we discussed that either they would ask for a class diagram or they would ask for a code, right? Generally, they could ask you to directly jump to the code also, so that is fine. So now how to design when they ask you to do the code part of it, right? But generally I follow there are two ways. Either you can start from parking lot itself, that is like going from up to down, right? You know, parking lot, and then you create entities within it. So if we take a look at this Excali, it's like you start from here, go to level parking spot, and then add the vehicles. But more intuitive or easy way could be just start from the single or primitive entities, like which don't have any other entities within itself. So I'll be following that second approach in this. So straightforward when it comes to parking lot, right? You will come to this vehicle. So you will create this vehicle abstract class. Now, why abstract class? I think I explained this in other video first part also, that as we can have multiple vehicles, right? It could be car, it could be bike, and they'll all have a different vehicle type. That's why we can use abstract here so that these functions we don't have to implement, right? So that's the first part. Now, once you have created the abstract, right, quickly you can do this thing. You can create bike, car, right, and also truck if required. Now, once you have done that, there is another important thing that you can kind of show that the vehicle type, it is going to be enum, right? So this is enum here. So if we go to vehicle type, it is of type enum. Now, why enum? Because it avoids the risk of errors, right? Let's say if it is a string and then you are comparing that, then there could be chance that there could be like some alphabets missing. And it's more error prone, right? That's why when you have fixed values, generally we use enums, specifically in Java. So that's the first part, right? So once you have created vehicle, car, and so basically your this part is done. So you have also achieved inheritance, which is like very basic, right? You should not sell that when you are in SD2 interview, but just throw it out in 2 to 3 minutes, right? So that's the first part. Now comes our parking spot, right? Now again, parking spot we need the it is parking spot is going to be specifically for some vehicle type that is always there, right? And then you will have a spot number, and then you will have whether there is a parked vehicle or not. So this will be a reference to the parked vehicle. Now, once you have done that, so this is like a constructor of it, and these are getter setters. So this, I think I have explained in the previous snake and ladder. So these are just the same getters and setters. And also, if you're going to use Java, right, I suggest that you install this IntelliJ so that your this getters and setters you can easily get, right? So if the requirement is to get a running code, then this kind of helps. So I have used this IntelliJ in couple of interviews, so it kind of helps, right? Now, apart from that, this is the important one where you are setting the parked vehicle. So you are creating the reference, and then here you can see is available, whether this is available, and you have put synchronized here so that if multiple threads are using this on one parking spot, then only one thread at a time will be handled, right? So we have kind of done locking at a parking spot level, right? So kind of a granular locking here. Now, once you have, if it is available, then we have another this function, park the vehicle, right? Again, we have done synchronization so that it can handle one vehicle per spot, right? So if it is available and the vehicle type is same, right? then you park the vehicle. So here instead of using any strings or it, we get directly used enums, right? Now, so once you have done that, unpark is same. So you can unpark that vehicle, right? Now, this is again simple, right? It should not take much time, it a couple of minutes to just put these two vehicles. And also it kind of, you can say that the responsibility of parking spot class is to kind of park and unpark the vehicle, right? Once we have done that, so then comes the level part, right? So we'll go to our level. Now each level has a floor. It could be floor or it could be, you can call it level ID or different, right? But floor is okay. When then you will have parking spots, right? So in a parking spot, there could be list of parking spot because there could be multiple, right? And then you kind of create one parking spot for vehicle bike and then for vehicle type, right? Now, coming to the park vehicle, right? So, how generally we park? We go over all the parking spots when we are actually parking, right? We go to one level, first check whether there is a parking spot in ground, and then you park the vehicle. If it is not there, you can just catch the exception here, or you can just say that no spots available. Basically, it will continue, so you don't have to do anything here. So, this you can do in other way also, but the for loop will be there. And to unpark, so same thing you will do. You'll find where the vehicle is parked and then you will do the unparking. And now this is where I think the time complexity can be increased if required. But for now, as there are other pieces of this, I've just kept it in this way, right? Now, once you go to probably how we can do is we can create a relationship between park, the vehicle and parking spot, right? So kind of a map, right? And that way we can kind of get the like in our system we'll have to create that mapping, but yeah, that's okay for this problem I think, because anyway it is kind of a easy level thing. But this could be like a homework. Feel free to put in comments like how you could decrease the time complexity of this. The next part is like display the availability. It's pretty simple. If it is, you go through the parking spot and if it is available, you kind of print that out, right? So these kind of print statements are acceptable. I've used them in Flipkart's round and in Nutanix rounds and in some of the startups rounds. So these are acceptable. So once you have done that, so you go to your parking lot. So this is your main parking lot. Here we are going to follow singleton. Why singleton? Such that whenever anyone is using our parking lot, they will just use the object that we provide. It's not like that they'll instantaneous they'll create their own parking lots, right? We don't want anyone to create objects of this parking lot. So that's why this is the way to kind of achieve singleton. I think this is called lazy way. There are like 7 other ways, which is not the focus of this video. So and then you have this add level, right, where you're just adding to this level. And then now this will also have park vehicle because this will be our entry class, right? But eventually single responsibility will be handled by this. So we are not writing any logic. This is a kind of our API level function, right? If we have to actually compare it with MVC architecture. Now, just want to highlight one thing here. So I generally do a live stream where I'm practically writing this code completely from scratch. I learn and then here I create a short formed video, right? So if someone wants to see how it is, how the thought process is, how I do it in a live stream, so feel free to watch. There might be live stream for this, so feel free to watch that. I can add a link for that also if someone is not able to find that, but you should be able to find that on the channel. So just want to highlight that. So that's why I'm kind of over going through the code so that it is easy to kind of revise if so may so, right? Or easy to kind of get the knowledge on this. So once you have done this, so basically this is kind of straightforward, and then we have to create our parking lot service class. So here we get the instance, right? And then we are adding the level. So I'm just adding one level and it has one car parking, one bike parking, and then you're trying to park it, right? So here, this is so one more good thing, right? That factory pattern. Uh, that I was about to miss. So as of now, we followed generalization to achieve this thing. We followed here we followed generalization inheritance. Then we followed singleton. But there is another vehicle factory pattern that we can use, right? So now, what is the use of it, right? So I'll go to our node service. If there is no factory pattern, right, and if on the client side we want to create a car, we would have to use this way, new car, right? And then we have to pass the license number. But we could just leverage our enums and we could create this on the fly. If someone just know the car type, right? We could use this same function, right? So we could just call this and then pass this type to the thing, right? Instead of writing this two lines. Now think of, right, if you extract this function outside and then you just pass this, right? Let's say this is an environment variable or on some runtime variable, right? That time it is very easy and you don't have to make any client side changes. Now, let's say if you have to create a truck class, right? Now, the only client side change will be the variable that this is being passed. It will be truck, but you are passing it to client, right? There is no change on the client side. But here you'll have to change this like new truck. So that you have to do. So that is where factory pattern comes into picture. If someone is not aware about it, go read it, but don't get so much confused. This is just the factory pattern. You create a factory class and you take in these and then you create the object. So that's it. There are a lot of jargons around it, but this is the simplest version of factory pattern. So we'll go to our service class. And now here we are parking the vehicle, right? So we are able to park them and then we'll check the availability. So we'll see no car, no availability, right? So then we'll unpark it and again park it. So I'll quickly run it once. So here we can see that our vehicles are parked and then no spots available are these lines 8 and 9, 18 and 19. And then you can see that availability. It is telling display availability. It is saying that spot 1 is occupied by vehicle and spot 2 is also occupied. Then vehicle is unparked. So this is where we unparking and then we are saying that spot 2 is available. Then again we are type parking the car. So this is it guys for this video. I know I kind of walked through the code, but again, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to see how we write it, how you can go ahead and watch the live stream. So thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.